There are a lot of people who think, well, the reason we only have like two or three apologetics pastors in the country is because we don't need that kind of thing. Not for young
Mm.
people, because they're postmoderns, they don't believe in truth, they don't resonate with that, they're in their feelings, they blah, this, that, the other thing, right?
Hmm.
And I'm interested to hear your response to that in light of your own experience with the young people and adults in your local church.
Well, I would say that, it's the same thing that people have been saying forever. So many students are leaving the church after graduating because they get to college and they hear things that they've never heard before. It's not only that they don't have a response to the things they're hearing. They've never heard these arguments against their faith before. And so
Mm,
my goal, even as a youth pastor, was I want to tell them what they're going to hear before they hear it. And if they're going to walk away from the Lord, I don't want it to be because of intellectual issues. I want it to
hmm
be because of ethical issues. Now, I don't want
hmm
them to walk away at all, but I would tell them that if you walk away from the Lord, it's not going to be because you think this is a better idea or
Right.
they have better evidence. It's because you want to do some sinning and you don't want God on your back.
hmm
And
When I was talking with a group not too long ago who asked me about the bigger threats that the threats that their students are going to face when they go away to the university, and I think the temptation is for us to think of the in a sense academic challenges
mm,
to Christianity that you were just referring to. But I think that arguably the largest one is moral,
yeah.
and that's sexual. I mean, there is all, especially for guys, but not just for guys, there's all of this temptation, this smorgasbord, so to speak, that is laid out for the taking for the most
Hmm.
part. Certainly a lot more latitude than when, 50 years ago when I was a college student. And even, but that was the counterculture. So it was opening up even then, but
Mm,
still. And what's standing in the way? Well, religion, right?
hmm.
So you
Yeah.
don't want religion getting in the way. And so all of a sudden, these other issues take on a stronger importance. The arguments or the challenges people raise against Christianity have more cogency because there's another motivation to want to believe them and to walk
Hmm.
away and do your own thing. It reminds me of what we were talking about this at staff meeting today with Tim Barnett. And Tim has famously said a lot of times people, you can correct me if I get this wrong, but it's something like, are they raising challenges or raising issues or questions? Are the questions looking for an answer or the questions looking for an exit?
Mm,
And I think this is what we face a lot with young people when they are appealed to by the world with all of this flash and glamour, all this freedom, especially sexual freedom, that entices them. If they don't have that root, they're goners,
yeah.
and the what might otherwise be answerable and somewhat even shallow challenges to Christianity take on a lot more significance for them.
No, that's very true. And they need to understand that Christianity has good evidence and reasons for it. That's where apologetics comes in. But then they
Hmm
have to, I think through the high school years, they have to cultivate the relationship with Jesus and really trust in the fact that he has their best interest in mind and that
hmm
the morals of scripture aren't because God is trying to steal our fun, right? He's not the cosmic joy kill, but
Right.
because he really does care about our well-being and he knows
hmm
what's best for us. But that is such a difficult thing, like you said, when you go to school and there's the temptation and there's the expectation of partaking in this hedonism. It's
hmm
it's a tough it's a tough place to go if you're not strong in the faith.
You made a comment, Robbie, in talking here with Robby Lashua, our newest speaker, content provider at Stand to Reason. We'll talk more about some of the things he's going to be doing in a minute. But you mentioned how important it was for youth in church to go deep with Christ while they're young before they go out.
Mm.
And as I think this next series of realities that we're starting in September, so the 22-23 series, we're going to be focusing in on deconstruction and deconversion, which is a huge problem in the church. And though I think it was tempting to think maybe 5, even 10 years ago, that people ended up deconstructing or leaving their convictions when they get to college. And so how do we deal with that and address that? These college students are facing challenges they can't answer, and this is undermining their convictions. It turns out that most of those people actually weren't convinced even in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so they lost their convictions in high school, not in college. College is just where it all became obvious and evident. That means that the time spent in the local church for the youth, when they're in high school or in middle school, is the critical time, which is why reality focuses in on that group of people.